Hello, everybody. My name is Michaela Elliott, and today I will be talking about African culture and food patterns. First, we're going to take a look at the African heritage food pyramid. At the bottom, you see is the greens. We have chard, collard greens, dandelion greens, turnip greens, kale, spinach, and a green that is native to Africa. It is called kalaloo. And then we have fruits. Some fruits, which is native to Africa, is watermelon, and then fruits that are influenced by Afro-Caribbean are more tropical fruits like papaya, guava, mangoes. Then we have peas and beans. For peas and beans, black-eyed peas are very popular. Um, Pigeon beans and then red beans are very popular as well. Peanuts and nuts, it's more peanuts are very popular, but other nuts are popular as well. Vegetables, we have carrots, cabbage, okra, garlic, onion. For whole grains, it's milton, couscous, teff, which is a whole grain, wild rice. For tuppers, a tupper is a root vegetable, so like sweet potatoes, yams, plantains, breadfruit, which is native to Africa, yucca, and then cassavia. Then we go to herbs and spices and traditional sauces. For spices, bay leaf, cinnamon, coriander, peppers, and one that's native to Africa is annatto. Fish and seafood. Fish and seafood, it's very popular for like shrimp, mackerel, conch, red snapper, and dried fish. For oils, they use coconut oil and olive oil. Meat and poultry, they will eat that, but in the Horn of Africa, they cook in a halal style, which means no pork, and they only will eat meat if the animal died on its own. Dairy, like buttermilk and yogurt, but it's not eaten very much, and then sweet juices occasionally. And this is going to just continue to tell you what you will see in an African diet. And like I said, tubers like breadfruit, plantains, potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, yucca, cassavia. Yeah. And this is continuing and just telling you what's going to be in the pantry, like we talked about beans, whole grains, herbs and spices, which is very predominant in their food, tubers and plantains, seeds, tomatoes. Now let's talk about Africa. Africa is broken up into three parts. So Western and Central Africa, which their main diet is root vegetables, mashed tubers and beans, vegetable soup, and stews over boiled and mashed tubers or grains. So grains could be like couscous, milton, wild rice, like I mentioned before. For Eastern Africa, it's whole grains and vegetables are main entrees, including vegetables like cabbage, kale, and maize, which is cornmeal. Now we will talk about Horn of Africa, which is Ethiopia and Somalia. Traditional meals are flatbread like injera, which is made out of teff, which is a whole grain. And then with that, it'll have beans blended with spices like lentil, fava beans, and chickpeas. And like I mentioned before, the people cook in halal style, which means no pork, no alcohol, and meat only from animals who die of their own. And common bases for African meals are couscous, milton rice, and sorghum, which is a common base as well. Now we're going to move into descendants of African culture. So we have African American, which the cuisine is influenced by both French and Spanish cultures intertwined with Southern cooking. Popular vegetables are okra, tomatoes, peppers, and greens, including dandelion, mustard, collards, and turnip greens. Pickling vegetables is also very popular. It's a way to preserve the vegetables. So they'll preserve beets, radishes, carrots, and cucumbers. And if you didn't know, cucumbers are native to Africa as well. And then we have Southern cuisine like Creole, which has roots in French, Spanish, and Haitian cuisines, gumbo, po' boys, all that good stuff. And then we have Afro-Caribbean. In their diets, it's more influenced by seafood and tropical fruits like papayas and guavas and mangoes. And Afro-Caribbean is West Indies and Caribbean islands. Food in their diet is seafood like saltfish and conch, tropical fruits like papaya and guava, rice and pea dishes like coconut milk, breadfruit, calillo, plantains, yams, annatto, and pumpkin. And then roti, that's a flatbread and it's made from whole grains. And then they fill it with curried vegetables and shrimp. Now we're moving on to Afro-South Americans. 100 million people of African descent living in South America, majority in Brazil. Popular foods are soups and stews, rice and beans, tubers like yucca and cassavia, okra, peanut, squash, plantains, fruits, and fruit juices like mango and guava. Favorite ingredients are red snapper, avocado, cilantro, and tapioca. And they also have a seafood stew, which I've had, not in South America, but I've had it and it's absolutely delicious. Now we're going to look at the typical meals and eating patterns. So in Western and Central Africa, they'll do African pea soup, jollof rice, which is so popular. It's a very big staple in Africa, actually, with black-eyed peas, chicken, yassa. South America, we have vegetable and rice soup, black beans and rice, avocado and heart of palm salad. And then lastly, it is pronounced moquete de peixe, which is a fish and vegetable soup. Oops, sorry. Continuing, African American, we got the shrimp gumbo, black-eyed peas, collard greens, cabbage slaw, cornbread, pecan crusted catfish, sweet potatoes, okra, corn, and brown rice pudding. For Afro-Caribbean, pumpkin soup, brown rice and red beans and light coconut milk, sauteed shrimp and garlic and papaya, and grilled snapper with mangoes, green beans, and peppers. Beverages, coffee, because coffee originated in Ethiopia. Then we have a beer. It's made from corn, yeast, water, and malt. Then we have another drink, sobola, which is pretty much like Jamaica, and it's very popular in Ghana and Nigeria, and it's made of orange peel, pineapple, cinnamon, ginger, and lemon. And then mint tea is also very popular. Now we're going to talk about the nutritional health status of Africa. In Africa, they're facing many health issues. Malnutrition is an enormous issue which causes other issues. Young children are becoming overweight, which could lead to diabetes or hypertension. Stunting and wasting is a concern for the country as well. Stunting is when a child isn't receiving enough nutrients, and wasting is when a child isn't the appropriate height or weight for their age. From the publication Nutrition in World Health Organization African region, 25 of the region's 47 countries have high or very high rates of stunting. In fact, analysts of trends show that these rates are rising instead of falling as to meet the target of reducing numbers of stunted children by 40%. Only 17 countries have acceptable levels of wasting, which is less than 5%. Also, obesity in adults, low birth rates, diabetes, and anemia in women who are reproductive are also issues. The life expectancy is 62 years old for a man and 65 for female. The World Health Organization has placed goals to be reached by 2025. The goals are: the nutritional targets call for a 40% reduction in the number of children under 5 who are stunted, 50% reduction of anemia in women of reproductive age, 30% reduction in low birth weight, no increase in childhood overweight, increasing the rate of exclusive breastfeeding to at least 50%, and reducing wasting to at least 5%. And with that, it concludes my presentation. And with this, I leave you with a handout. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.